This is That Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Starr.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
Welcome. We're here to talk and bring some civil discourse to an otherwise discordant world with the ambient sounds of the dishwasher in the distance.
That's not at all where I thought you were going with that.
No,
I thought you were going to be like, with the ambient sounds of the
with a rotary
magic cylinder,
with the rotary wheel.
Oh, I just made a funny.
The star wheel.
The magic cylinder.
That's
a Yu-Gi-Oh reference.
Waka waka.
Huh.
And yeah, how are you? How you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
How are you?
I have a massive headache right now. That's
I
why we're on the cool side. We're on the cool side.
Oh, you
of podcast
are medicated.
land. No, I'm not medicated.
You told me before we left you took something.
I took an Aleve.
Ah.
It's not as medicated as I'd like to be. It's not as medicated as I'd like to be, or as medicated as I plan to be.
Well, we'll get you some drugs after this.
But I've had, between the chiropractor, massage therapy, the gym, painting, and playing tennis today, I literally, you know what? Let's get to the rules.
Let's get to them.
Yeah, since apparently some of us need a little refresher on the rules.
Yeah.
We have 3 rules.
People on audio have no idea what it is.
For the sake of civility, for you and your tiny violin.
It's behind
no
you.
Judgment, nothing personal, and don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Don't.
Especially that
dick.
last one.
Yeah, don't be a dick. You want to spin the wheel? You want to talk about something? What were we talking about earlier?
Paranormal activity.
And how people who believe in it are stupid?
That is completely out of context.
Well, what was the context?
What was it? Oh, jeez. We were talking about movies, and somehow we got to the Amityville Horror.
Oh, because somebody bought the Warrens' house.
Right. I was scrolling. Was I scrolling through TikTok and found that?
Yes, you were. Well, I certainly was.
And then you were like, "Did they move?" And I was like, "I'm pretty sure."
No, I thought I wasn't sure that both of them died.
Right, and I looked it up and found out they had.
Yeah.
And then I told you my story about how when I saw the most recent Conjuring, at least I think it was the most recent one, I fell asleep.
Yes, and I've only ever seen the first one. I saw it in theaters. And then we were talking about, that I had said that I thought it was neat because I didn't know anything about them. And that they investigated the Amityville haunting.
Which I knew nothing about.
But then you looked it up. And you were adamant. You were very, very stalwart in your opinion that that's just crazy people.
I wouldn't call them crazy. I just think it's silly. I think it's pointless. I don't find pleasure or intrigue or excitement in investigating that sort of thing.
But you also don't believe in it.
I guess not.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But, I mean, it's a little critical.
Well, you're just upset because I use the word stupid.
I am always upset when someone uses the word stupid.
Learn something new about your spouse every day.
I'm sure that in your lifetime, in your 37 and a half years on this earth, that someone at some point in your life has called something you have an appreciation for stupid.
Oh, yeah, it happens all the time.
And how does it make you feel?
I mean, I've learned to shrug it off because it used to make me very upset, and then I realized it was just never going to stop.
Were you in a relationship with these people?
Oh, I've had it done to me by friends, by girlfriends, by family members, by coworkers, by teachers, by therapists.
Now, by therapists?
Oh, yeah.
Now, by calling the things that you have an interest in, stupid, do you ever take that personally?
All the time.
You take it as a personal affront? Do you feel that they're calling you stupid?
Yes.
So why should I not have felt the same way when you referred to people the investigation of paranormal activity and the interest or the belief thereof is stupid?
Because number one, it wasn't directed at you. Number two, as I mentioned in our previous conversation, there are varying degrees of intelligence, particularly of the people who, delve into these sorts of things.
For sure.
And 3, that, I would never call you stupid for liking what you like or believing what you believe. I think, as I told you, the idea, the conception of it is stupid because, I am a firm believer in the explainable, the tangible evidence, the proof, something that
Right.
we've talked about at length on this podcast.
Right.
And the fact that there's probably a rational explanation for anything and everything, dubbed paranormal. It's just that people would rather believe that there is something afoot beyond the here and now. And, if that's what they want to believe, that's entirely up to them. But I just think it's silly.
But that's just it, though, is that, like, I mean, this is not exactly what I wanted to talk about, but just while we're here, before we...
What did you want to talk about?
We'll get to it. Before we get to it, though, like, the idea you're talking about that, that, like, you have a hard time believing in it without proof.
I don't believe in ghosts.
You don't believe in ghosts.
I don't believe in spirits.
But what about the proof thereof?
What proof?
People have proof.
Oh, yeah? What proof?
There is documented
evidence?
proof. There is documented evidence
hard evidence
in the paranormal.
Have hard evidence.
It's a science unto itself. This study of paranormal activity and parapsychology and whatnot.
Well, I welcome our listeners to send that information our way and prove me wrong because, like, for example, I grew up in Sandy Hook, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is where the Fairfield Hills campus is. Now, the Fairfield Hills campus, I believe, was originally a college and then eventually meant like a psychiatric institution.
A loony bin?
Sure.
Okay.
And for a long time was just an asbestos-filled campus of unused buildings where bored teenagers would go to, search for ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
And, the blood on the walls of the basements and the corridors where, you could still hear the screams of the patients and things like that. And it's just like, it was everyone's favorite place to get, chased away from by the cops. And in all the years that I'd heard people say, we're going to Fairfield Hills tonight, I'm just like, don't you have anything fucking better to do? Like, really? You're going to go down to the hallways and probably get drunk and just be silly and stupid and run the risk of running into law enforcement because they're going to be down there too.
And sometimes people like to break into abandoned mental hospitals and, go up 20-something flights of stairs to have a picnic.
I don't know. To me, it screams bad news.
Some people do things like that.
Yeah.
And, aside from all of the screams you can still hear and everything, it's still a nice view. Not Fairfield Hills. I've never been to Fairfield Hills. I'm talking about Kings Park in Long Island.
I mean, there's still buildings that are, abandoned and asbestos filled and haven't done it. I mean, I'm glad that they started using that campus for something.
Yeah.
Like the new town hall is there. There's a fitness and recreation center there. There's other stuff, but for a long time there was this debate in town about what to do with the campus because it's here. I don't know if the town had actually owned it at that point, but like people talked about it for years, and it's like, do something. Don't let it just sit there and rot. Like,
right.
This place has history. Like, why was it even abandoned in the first place? But the talk of the town was always, there's spirits, there's ghosts. Fucking George. The story that went around was always this guy George, the one that used to the old guy that hung out at the diner and the gas station, Dunkin' and all around town, was once a patient there, and once it shut down, he had nowhere to go.
That does happen. They did that whole Geraldo expose on the mental hospital in Staten Island, I think, was, the fact that it was originally like a TB ward, and then it turned into basically a dumping ground for for kids and adults both who were either emotionally disturbed or, mentally retarded and things like that. And then it closed down. The staff left. They just left they left the patients there. And Geraldo went in and exposed the whole thing and everything. And it was wild. And they actually based season 2 of American Horror Story on that.
Like, if ghosts were a real thing, I would welcome a visit from George, because I fondly remember seeing him at the Sandy Hook Diner every Sunday morning, and I would sit with him at the counter, and I'll never forget, this is how he would greet me. Hello, boy!
Hello, Joe!
Just like that. And I'd sit there, and I'd hang out with him. I'd be like, Mom, Dad, you go in the dining room. I'm going to sit at the counter with George. And he would just, like, I don't even remember what we talked about. Probably ask me about school.
Yeah.
And then years later, when I started working at Dunkin', he would hang out. He would show up, like, all hours of the night. I remember being there at 2 o'clock in the morning waiting for the truck to arrive. And he's out. He's walking up to the door. Now, the lights are off, door's locked. He's walking up to the door alone, trying to open. And he's standing there for a good, like, 2-3 minutes just trying to open the door. It's like, first of all, who let you out? Like,
You're gonna find out years from now that he was dead the whole time.
he had handlers at the time.
He was probably died in like the late 80s.
No.
And it turns out it was, like Large Marge.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm pretty sure he has since passed, but like, that was one of the urban legends, is like, Fairfield Hill shut down and then he had nowhere to go.
I mean, I don't think I'd consider it an urban legend. It's probably true, honestly.
But he was Newtown's man about town.
Yeah.
And I loved running into, like, I used to see the way people would like look at him and like, okay, he's elderly, he's mentally deficient, but he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember having a bad moment with him, you know.
Well, cheers to you, George, wherever you may be. So I wanted to, just in the same vein of the conversation you and I were having this morning that we just, let everybody in on, and an experience that you and I have had with multiple people over, I'm going to say the last 4 years, but specifically the last year. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Within the calendar confines of 2025, all 7 months that we've lived through so far, right? You and I have been...
I'm getting my bearings.
You and I have been, I'm not even going to say accused as much as we've been on like the butt end of this weird phenomenon that seems to be sweeping people. And that is the idea that any difference of opinion is all of a sudden a personal attack on people. We have been experiencing this, I would say, on epidemic type just proportions.
So what is your question for me?
I don't necessarily have a question as much as, like, you see it, right? Like, I'm not nuts. Like, it starts with, if you voted for such and such, then you are not my friend. You don't love these people. You are not, a supporter of X, Y, and Z and everything.
That's identity politics to the 100th degree. And it's not even has anything to do with politics. It's the fact that, now we're living in a time where everyone claims membership to something, and anyone who's not in that club is seen as an adversary.
But I think that you would agree with me. I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I think you, my husband, would agree with me in saying that it is borderline ridiculous.
Well, I mean,
for people to believe that every difference of opinion is in fact a personal attack against them.
Well, I mean, this is something that like I experienced very early on in life. Like, it's not as severe, I would say. But like when I was a kid, like I grew up playing Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Right.
Okay. I never played Magic the Gathering when I was a kid. All the older kids and older people played Magic the Gathering. But, we always got this feeling, this like unspoken, sensation that like the Magic the Gathering players looked down on everybody else because the games that we played were of manga and anime, and they weren't as sophisticated with the artwork, and they weren't sophisticated with the design and gameplay and things like that. And some people actually were like that. Some people were very, very territorial and just kind of like, fuck you, stupid kids.
It's so weird to think of that, though, all things considered, because I'm pretty sure that the kids in my school who played Magic the Gathering were like the biggest outcasts in general.
Well, I mean, anybody who was in that, realm was considered an outcast.
Yeah.
But at the same time, within its own, like the people playing Magic or playing Warhammer or playing anything...
Oh God, Warhammer.
Anything involved in like the nerd realms that wasn't, cutesy or anime related were just like, turn their nose up at it because, those things got more traction due to the other mediums like manga and television and things like that.
I had a friend a few years ago.
Which is stupid because
I don't know where he's gone
whatever
to.
you're into,
Yeah, but like I had a friend.
I do all three of them now.
Who told me that he was a competitive player. I want to say Digimon.
That was another one.
I want to say Digimon. But for all I know, it was Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know.
But that's bringing it down to its simplest
Right.
ideas, in the fact that like now in 2025 people are exhibiting the same tendencies in regards to real politics,
Yeah.
into you know everything from beliefs to jobs to personal choices to what company you keep and things like that.
Like, whatever happened to the gray area?
That's something you and I talked about when we first started dating. You're the one who quoted the Ghostbusters line, like there's many subtle
levels.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything is now in extremes.
I hate it.
Everything is dealt with in extremes. I don't know what that's a cause of, though.
I mean, I feel like it's just like a staunch perpetuality of the idea of keeping people differentiated.
Like, I refuse to comment on anything on social media anymore because I don't want to hear people's responses. I don't care what you have to say back. So, but I know somebody's going to say something. So, because like now, most recently, Triple H did an appearance with Donald Trump because they're bringing back the president's fitness test.
Whatever that's all
now,
about.
Everybody has loved Triple H because he's not Vince McMahon. They're like, he's finally doing for the the fans justice with WWE and taking the reins on creative and this and that and the other thing. But now he's seen with Trump, so he's obviously a fascist. Like, we can't like him anymore.
That's just it.
And now people in the comments are saying, "Oh, it's Triple H's time. He needs to go. He's been there too long." What the fuck are you talking about? And then there are people who would be like, oh, the people making those comments are bots. The internet's full of bots now. Anytime you see something negative directed towards it, like Hulk Hogan died. He was a racist. Nobody gives a shit. Oh, the people saying that, those are bots. It's like, nobody fucking knows what to believe anymore.
No. And I've been saying that for a while, that, it's actually, it's for the first time really started to get to me that you can't tell what's real anymore.
I can tell what's real.
I can tell when I'm looking at something and be like, that's real or not. But like I'm talking about like the information about people is hard for me. Like, I feel like everything has to be taken with a grain of salt. But the very idea that it's so that every issue is so polarizing to the point of a simple difference of opinion means that someone somewhere is taking it as a personal attack.
I mean, but then again, you don't even know if somebody's actually taking it personally or if it's something that's AI generated or what. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I can let a lot of things roll off my shoulders. When somebody wants to attack me personally, I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't fucking care. Like, I have a good home, a good life, good wife, good job, good everything. Like, nothing you say is gonna. I mean, like, I have a tendency to dwell on things for a little longer than I should, but eventually they're out of my mind. Like, right now, I can't have anything come to mind of things that have bothered me recently because I'm thinking about what we're doing here.
Yeah.
But like, if somebody sets me off tomorrow morning, I'm going to be thinking about it all day. But then the day after, it'll be like it never fucking happened.
But it's like for example, our conversation this morning about how you believe your opinion
is that the paranormal
is that
stupid.
Is that the paranormal and paranormal investigating is stupid.
Well, again, I didn't say the people were stupid. I just think the paranormal. I think the idea.
But that's just it. Is how many? And you believed to an extent that I was getting defensive.
But now, I also don't go around telling people they're stupid for believing it.
But that's just it. Is that where does the line cross? It's difficult for me because of all of the people I've ever met on this planet, I can honestly say I believe myself is the least offended by anything. I mean, personally offended. I find so little personally offensive to me.
Like, I would never set out to personally offend you, but this goes back to something I used to tell people a lot years ago, is that I can't be held responsible for your perception.
And that's something that you and I have talked about on numerous occasions, is the idea that, everyone believes that words coming out of someone's mouth are offensive. It's like, no, it's your interpretation of them that you are taking offense to.
Because we're not mind readers. Yeah. How are we supposed to know how someone is going to take or interpret what we say? I mean, we don't.
Like, that's just it, is that if I were to sit down with let's say a 17-year-old, right? And I put like, I don't know, I put like Romeo and Juliet in front of them, and and I'm like, this is one of the easier plays. Come on, you should be able to understand this. And then they think that I'm calling them stupid. It's like, no, I didn't say that. I said this is one of the simpler things. It shouldn't be as complicated as you're making it. Like, I could mean something completely different. The words coming out of my mouth seems to be completely different from the words that are going into your ear.
Like, I can give you an example of a time when I did that, when I set out to personally attack somebody.
Oh,
because it was purely retaliation, but in retrospect, it was silly and yeah. So Kyle used to love to jab at me for being, in conservative politics.
Here we go.
Anytime a Republican did or didn't do something or said something or whatever, he had to pick it apart and point at me and be like, oh, is this what you believe or is this what you think? Because this person said this about the other thing.
King of taking things personally
and just gaslighting me to no end. So a lot of times when I would prove him wrong on certain things we'd be debating about, I would always say, like, you're a history teacher, shouldn't you know this? Which he is. He's a history teacher, and it's just, but that he took real offense to that because he's like, you've got to cut that shit out. Like, stop saying that. And I'm like, it's not very much fun when someone gets under your skin, is it? Now you know how I feel when you do it to me.
I remember when we were at that like backyard show in Jersey. And I don't even remember what the hell the topic of conversation was.
Oh, you mean when he and I started debating?
Yeah.
Neither do I.
I don't even remember. I don't even remember what the fuck it was because 20 feet behind him was a horse. And I was so like...
focused on the horse.
I was so focused on the horse. But I remember him being adamant about like somehow like sucking an apology out of you because he can't handle all of these personal attacks.
Well,
it's just like, bro, it's like no one's personally attacking you.
I used to give him a hard time about his mistakes on stage because he would fuck up the songs, the music. He would fuck up the lyrics a lot. And this is stuff that he wrote. Like, dude, I'm your lead guitar player. Why do I know your stuff better than you do? Yeah. And when I'd call him out on this stuff, I'm like, dude, do you practice at home? Like, I practice at home all the time. And of course, it turned into one of those, oh, you think you're better than me? I'm like, well, I kind of am because I practice my instrument in my off time. What do you do?
But I mean, you talk about, and every time I think about people who take things way too personally, he's the first person that comes to my mind. He's genuinely the first person that comes to my mind because I've never experienced a human being who is so hell-bent on making sure that everyone is personally attacking him.
Because he can dish it, but he can't take it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not in a band with him anymore.
But it makes me wonder, this obviously, the internet will tell.
I've got to spend 4 days with him.
Well, you don't have to spend it with him. You're just spending it in the same vicinity as him. I think you should just should we just call it?
Nope,
I think you should just stare at him and not say a word.
Meanwhile, I have to listen to him personally attack me because I'm sure he won't pass up that opportunity.
Listen, if he does, the gloves are off. That's just it. And that's it. Is that, when I think that this is the reason. This is probably the only reason I can come up with because I've never understood the point of cancel culture. I've never understood it, and it's a new idea, but like I've never understood it, and it's this blanket. Everything is offensive to somebody. So
newsflash, everything's been offensive to everybody.
It always
forever.
has been.
Yeah.
It always has been. But now it's the responsibility of the dishers, right? The dishers to curb themselves for the sake of hypothetically offending somebody in the general vicinity. And I've never understood that. I've truly never understood that.
I still think we should be able to take back fag.
Well, they say it in
Shakespeare.
Well, they say it in Shakespeare, but they've said it in it's in one of my favorite Fountains of Wayne songs.
Yeah.
And I I've never heard anybody get upset about it.
Listen,
I've literally never heard anybody get upset about
I
it, and I'm just like, it's a word,
I
yo.
have
It's like cunt.
I
Like
have
I
gay
don't care.
friends, like,
Yeah.
but I really like using the word when describing a really dumb person.
When I went out for my 28th birthday, we're talking a long time ago. When I went out for my 28th birthday, it was basically me and a bunch of my gay friends went to Lucy's to have drinks, and there was open mic and everything. And my friend Bobby was there, and um one of the regulars at the bar was out who was gay, and I had asked him, and I was like, he's a little young, but would you be interested in meeting my friend over here? And he just kind of looked at him, and he's just like, no, I don't go for faggy guys. And I'm just like, well, there you go.
See, I think I know what the problem is, but nobody is willing to examine it further. It's the fact that we don't search for commonality like we used to.
Yeah.
Because like, I hear this all the time because I have a lot of friends that have trouble, getting into relationships or meeting girls or talking to girls or whatever. And it's just like, I mean, I'm not an old hand at this or anything, but it's just like, when you want to strike up a conversation, or at least when I do, you go up to somebody and you just make shit up. You make it up as you go along. You start somewhere and you what is it, dovetail? Is that what it?
Dovetail is sort of piggybacking.
Sure. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. I've always heard that phrase. I never exactly knew what it meant. And you just go from there. And if it extends to something further, great. If not, you try the next one.
In that sense, I've, my only thing, like, I understand, like, to an extent, I understand people are anxious about speaking to strangers. It's like,
that's nothing
fine.
New.
That's nothing new. But this whole idea of, I don't know what to say, it's like, try honesty,
or
try being your genuine self.
The crippling fear of rejection, which everybody seems to have. It's just like, I mean, I'm even guilty of that. But the thing is that, like, I've said to you before, like, I'm very uncomfortable around gay guys because I've been hit on by gay guys before, and I don't like it. It's just something about it creeps me the fuck out. I don't like how it makes me feel,
which is fine. I have the same feeling for overly egotistical guys.
So to each their own. Like, no problem with them. You want to hit on each other all you want, go right ahead. Just stay away from me.
Just
I'm
don't hit on
happily
me.
married. Yeah. But the thing is that if I met a gay guy who liked guitars or worked at the post office or liked Yu-Gi-Oh or fucking pro wrestling or whatever, I could stand there and talk to him for a fucking hour and not get bored. And that's all there is to it. Same thing if I were talking to any other marginalized person, queer, trans, black, Hispanic, fucking female, Democrat, libertarian, whatever else is out there. Like, if you want to talk to me about card games and music, like, I don't care what your marginalization is.
But if someone were to make a comment, a broad sweeping generalization about, like, I don't play those games, they're for kids.
Well, your loss.
Like, who cares, right?
Your loss.
You're not going to take that as this person thinks that you're stupid, thinks that you're childish.
Like, you and I have been on the receiving end of dirty looks from,
Lord.
well-to-do people who think that anybody with ink on their skin is somehow less intelligent or, deplorable.
Yep. Same thing with cursing.
That too.
If they hear you cuss, they're just like, that's a sign of an unintelligent person. It's like wrong.
But again, getting back to this idea that we don't search for commonality the way some might have used to, and that's what's hindering us because we're not building bridges. We're staying on opposite sides of them.
Do you think that we're doing it? Do you think that we're perpetuating it intentionally?
So in 2019, right after my mother died, I was terribly afraid of what the outcome might have been, but I said, I know there's a community of people out there that play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to get into it, okay? I know I'm going to be terrible at first, but I want to find like-minded people that I can,
You only started doing that in 2019?
Competitively, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I've dabbled in it my whole
Learn
life.
something new.
But in 2019, I found there was a local community that competes, at the highest level. And I'm like, I want to play against more than just my circle of friends. And so I started doing it. And it didn't matter that I lost a lot. I mean, I won a fair amount too. But I followed that crowd for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then I realized that, our common interest in the game wasn't enough because these specific people were incredibly rude and incredibly selfish and incredibly just inconsiderate
and arrogant.
Yeah.
I remember going with you that one time, and you told me about everybody, and I was like, I don't know how you tolerate these people.
I mean, the hardest thing, like, I knew they were competitive. I just didn't expect them to be so, like, gloating and full of themselves.
Like, that's just it, is you don't have to be an asshole. Like, if you know you're good at something, like, you don't have to brag.
And I used to tell these guys all the time, like, I don't care if I win or lose. I'm here to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So if I win, great. If I lose, not a big deal. I want to have fun. I want to be around like-minded people. The thing that I'm pretty sure this was the very last time that I went. But I watched as there was this one mentally challenged kid. I think I've said this on the podcast.
Yeah.
One mentally challenged kid who showed up every week, always lost, didn't care. He was having a good time. Mm-hmm. His dad would always get him his cards and bring him food. Like, he'd bring him dinner while we'd be sitting there.
Yeah, right.
Matches. And he pulled like an $80 card one night. And the person I played in round one after this guy beat me was talking to a friend of his about the best way to try and get the mentally challenged kid
and scam him
to sell them that card for $20.
Yeah.
And I should have got up and slapped him. But I think under my breath I said, like, that's a really fucking shitty thing. Like, what's the matter with you? And then I didn't talk to him. And then he kind of looked at me like, like, I'm like, yeah, if you don't get the fuck out of my face, I'm probably going to do something more than just talk under my breath, because you don't do that to people. Like, the kid obviously doesn't know what he's doing, and he just happened to get lucky, and you're going to try to take advantage of a situation like that. Like,
But, like, there are probably plenty of people who would think you're a moron for being like, why wouldn't you?
Actually, if I remember correctly, I played that kid.
Yeah.
In the next round, and I let him win.
Aww.
I let him win because, again, he's not the greatest player, but he's there to have a good time. Yeah. And I said, you know what? In my mind, I was saying to myself, I had more fun losing to that kid than I did beating anybody else that I played that night.
Yeah.
Because in that night, I didn't have to win. I didn't want to win. I wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
Because there were nights where I wanted to be competitive and I wanted to, see how far I could go. But I'd look at this kid and I'm just like, he doesn't know any better. He just he wanted what I wanted. He wanted to be around like-minded people. And they all made fun of him under his breath. It's like, you wouldn't be saying that if you were in his shoes.
But that's just it, is that I feel like people like that, like, even like if you have an ego that inflated with regards to something, dare I say it, as frivolous as a card game, just saying, I understand that people do it like super competitively and for stakes and stuff, but like, let's just call a spade, that if you're going to get that up in arms about something as frivolous as a Friday night card game, okay, that I can only imagine that these are the type of people, and I could be talking out of school here, but I can only imagine that these are the type of people who, in the event of them losing, would somehow have just a litany of excuses ready for why they lost.
Oh no, I mean, I've seen all
like
these.
there's no graceful loss. Everything has to be, well, the reason why I lost is because, you did this. And it's just like, nobody wants to own that shit happens.
Like, aside from that night, there was one night where one of the guys I just couldn't fucking stand because of his smug attitude, didn't just beat me. He managed to find a way to take my best cards from my deck and get them to his side of the field and beat me with them.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you're just really being a fucking dick. Like, I know you can do this, but you don't have to do this. And I know you think it's funny, but it's just like, That I took as a personal attack.
But why even was that a personal attack? Because wouldn't he have done that to anyone with those cards?
No, because I don't think anybody would have brought those cards.
Fair enough.
I was trying to do my own thing and trying to have a good time. But it's a really shitty situation. But again, like I set out to try and build bridges with people, to try and find commonality.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I met with, the realization that not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody's comfortable with that.
I think that for the most part, people are willing to build bridges these days. People are willing to build bridges with perfect strangers so long as that perfect stranger is exactly like them.
Yeah.
I don't think that anyone, I don't think, I'm not going to say, all right, I'm not going to say no one, but I'm going to say that it is the rarest of rares these days. What's the most rarity for your cards?
Starlight.
Okay, so this is the Starlight rarity of people who are willing to acquaint themselves with a perfect stranger without knowing like that they are unproblematic. Let's throw that out there. The fact that we are now considering human beings problematic for their unpopular opinions. And I say unpopular, it just means that it's an opinion that you hold in, low esteem. Like that's some bullshit to me. But it's super rare, I think, that people are willing to build that bridge. I think that it's like if you were to go on a blind date with somebody, right? And you find out like, oh, well, they're not big on pets. All right. So that's, a point of contention because, I really like animals and I have a couple of pets and everything. And you find out that they have a problem with, veganism. They think it's stupid. It's like, well, I'm not a vegan, but that's a little judgmental and everything. But it's like, it's like I've known plenty of people who these minuscule things are deal breakers. It's like none of these things are even speaking to this person's character. They're barely speaking to this person's character.
The guys who make Black Rifle Coffee did a really funny spoof on that where this guy is hugging this girl at the end of a date and she's like, is that a gun in your pants or are you just happy to see me? He lifts up his shirt. He's like, actually, it's a Glock 19. And then she's like, what the fuck is that? And points to the American flag over his garage. He's like, there's a problem with the American flag over my garage. That is so offensive. And just, keep spinning off from there.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are people that exist like that. That will take things that are so normal in society and find things wrong with them.
Take the American flag, for example. Let's just take that as an example. You see people flying the flag. They've got them on their house. They've got them on their porches. They've got flagpoles in their front yard and everything.
For 250 years.
Literally 250 years. But nowadays, exhibiting a flag is a sign of what? You must be a redneck. You must be a conservative.
You must be a racist.
You must be a racist.
You must be a
misogynist.
fascist.
A misogynist. Yep. All of these things. Just because you are flying
because we're on stolen land.
Because you're flying a goddamn flag.
Because they will find, anybody who would complain will find anything to tear into it with. They will, be like, yes, I'm flying an American flag because I'm an American. No, I'm not a fascist. Well, you're on stolen land, Oh, yeah,
there has to be something.
Like, you're an immigrant too. Like, you can't say that you want, everyone deported because your family wasn't originally from here either. And it's just like...
And that's just it. Is that... And
none of this has to do with the differences between right and wrong. And what's right is that everybody should be entitled to their opinion and be able to say what they want freely without fear of anything.
Yep.
And what's wrong is for somebody to act aggressively towards these people just for speaking their mind.
I think that we've really put a premium on the ability to be honest these days because I think that there are very few people within everyone's own circle that you are able to be honest with. And I mean 100% honest.
Like, I'd love to honestly go up to the people that cut us off on the road the last 2 Sundays in a row and be like, you are fucking stupid. But I can't do that.
I mean, you can.
I don't know who they are.
I have always said that there should be no fear of honesty, but the fact of the matter is that the honest truth is that you will suffer consequences one way or the other. Yeah. Like, that's just it, is that everyone wants to curb their honesty nowadays because for fear of repercussions or confrontation or whatever the fuck else is the problem and everything. But it's like, listen, you don't have to, but you can be honest with someone about being a douchebag, but you may or may not get, a punch to the face.
I gave you my honest opinion this morning,
which was fine. I didn't take it personally.
Awesome. Excellent.
I didn't take it personally. Now, you thought that I was getting defensive.
It sounded like you were.
And all I was doing was asking for your clarification because I wanted it. There's a fly in here.
You mean the one we couldn't kill earlier?
Yes. And if I catch it on camera again, that will make two, and I won't even know what to do with myself at that point. But I've found a whole new career path. But that's just it, is that you're
going to have Jesse's ice cream and Jesse's exterminator.
You got sort of on the offense because you were under the impression that I was getting defensive.
I'll tell you why. It's because I was forced to go see that stupid Conjuring movie.
I didn't force you.
I know you didn't.
I'm like, it's not my fault.
So
I would never force you to watch it now.
But that's how I found out that horror movies put me to sleep, because they really do. It's just like, they're just fucking like, I'm sorry, but like,
you can think whatever you want about them. I'm not going to take it personally. Now, if I made one of them and you said this is the dumbest movie I've ever seen, I might take that personally. Because again,
like, we were talking about the Amityville,
yeah,
whatever, yeah. and 6 people got me. I'm like, there has to be an explanation. There has to be a rational explanation. Like, the people who bought that house don't just up and leave unless something was going on.
Yes, but in your opinion, it had nothing to do with the paranormal.
Right, because anything and everything should be able to be explained in one manner.
But that's just it, is that you just to take this as an example, you seem adamant that the paranormal is somehow synonymous with unexplainable. The whole point of paranormal activity is that it actually is explainable.
Well, again,
it is perfectly explainable, and there is plenty of evidence out there for the actual, encounters with paranormal activity and everything like that. There is plenty of evidence out there. There is written documentation throughout centuries of things like this.
Because I would welcome for our listeners to challenge me on this, and then for us to, fire off a rebuttal on the next episode.
Sure.
But, you guys have to do your homework.
But that's just it, is that, it's not the same thing. The idea that something is paranormal or supernatural is not necessarily means that it is completely inexplicable.
I mean, I've already alienated the Catholic Church by saying that Jesus was just a fantastic magician.
I mean, if the walls in this room just started bleeding right now, like, surely there would be an explanation for that. I feel
it's just, it's that every horror movie buff in the world smokes too much weed.
Whether it is that someone on the other side of this wall is soaking the drywall in blood, or a paranormal or supernatural entity is in fact bleeding through our walls right now. Either way, it's an explanation for bloody walls.
I see what you did there.
Okay. But I sure as shit am not going to take any of that personally. And that's just it, is a lot of the things that I have a tendency to talk about on this podcast especially are
Nothing
things
personal.
that I'm really desperate for an explanation of, because I don't get it.
Like what?
Like,
what are you desperate for an explanation of?
Well, like this, for example, like why is everything so personal?
Why is it? Because people choose that for that. Because they're not influenced enough by the right people to be like, okay, I don't have to lose my shit at that. Like,
that's wild to
we
me.
take our cues from not from social media influencers, but from real influence, from our parents, from our teachers, from our employers, from our, like, anybody that we hold in high esteem. Like, I just rattled off names of ones that I have held in high esteem, but like, who do you look up to? Who do you admire? Who do you, take your cues from? And it's just like, we are mirror reflections of those people. It's just like my compassion and empathy comes from my mother, and my stubbornness and sternness comes from my father. My quirkiness and smartassery obviously comes from my brothers.
What do you get from me?
What do I get from you? My ability to not give a flying fuck and to promote self-care.
Aww.
Because I've never been as into self-care until we got together.
And part of that has to be letting shit roll off.
Yes.
It has to be, because
now,
all of that shit, you take it, you ball it up, and you shove it way down and everything, and it's just like, how is that taken care of?
But there are still times where I want to throw hands, and that is solely because there are people who egg me on because they enjoy it, because they like the react, they like getting the reaction, and they think it's funny to tease me, and it's just like, boy, would I love to shut them up.
Yeah, one of these days.
One of these days, we'll get back to a time when that sort of thing is legal.
But again. Rule number one has been from the very beginning, nothing personal.
No judgment.
No judgment. Rule number two is nothing personal. And that's just it, is that you and I made these rules because the whole point is not to jab at each other.
Right.
That's the whole point. And we have said that the rules that we have for this podcast are not just for this podcast. Like, these are fucking life. These are ways of living a peaceful life.
I genuinely believe that you're a very intelligent person. Just because you believe in the paranormal doesn't mean I think you're stupid. Doesn't mean that I think other people who believe in it are stupid. I think the idea of paranormal, of believing in the supernatural, is just silly.
And that's perfectly fine.
Just an opinion.
And that's just it. It's just an opinion. You're not trying to change my mind.
Nope.
You're not trying to foist your beliefs on me.
Because how hypocritical would it be for me to say that and then to try and go out and recruit for the church?
Are you out there proselytizing?
No. Wait, proselytizing?
Proselytizing.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, that's when you are trying to recruit for the church.
Which church? I've never heard that word
I think
before.
Specifically for Jesus.
That's too broad. Jesus, remember, there's like 1 million different denominations of Christianity.
Yes, and
that's another thing
too. To recruit is proselytizing.
As you know, as a having been raised a Catholic, I have befriended so many Jews in my lifetime, and I don't care that they're Jewish, and I don't care that I'm Catholic. Our commonalities are what brought us together. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't our faith or lack thereof that separated us. It was the fact that some of these people are just assholes.
Well, yeah.
I actually have great respect for the Jewish faith because of the fact that Christianity is derived from it.
Yes, it is.
And especially when it comes to Orthodox Jews, they are very adamant about their traditions and their rituals.
I think that it is.
If anybody wants to educate me on Muslimism, Islam. There we go. Thank you. Anybody wants to
Muslimity?
I'm sorry. Don't take that as a personal attack.
That was funny. We're gonna have to keep that one rolling.
I mean, I love that one clip that's out there that just like Jews, Christians, and Muslims, they're all brothers, and the fact that they fight each other is fucking ridiculous. Like, I love that guy's interpretation because it's just like, you want to invite me to your synagogue or your mosque or whatever, like, I'm down.
Who is that?
What?
Who said that?
I don't know the guy's name. It's just it's one of those things that comes up on TikTok every so often.
Nice. But yeah,
he said it was disgraceful that Jews, Christians, and Muslims fight each other.
It is.
Yeah.
In my
opinion.
There's the fly. There's the fly. All right. We're going to go get that fly.
Yeah.
And thank you for tuning in to That Talking Podcast. If you have some comments or some answers as to why y'all out there seem to find everything so personal, please send us an email.
And if you were personally offended by this episode, go fuck yourself.
DT Andy and JJ Star at gmail.com. You can go to our website, thattalkingpodcast.podbean.com.
No more BS.
No more BS. We're on the
Can we
PB.
put that on a t-shirt?
I don't know. We might be infringing on Paul White, because when he went from WWE to AEW, his shit said no more BS.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know that we can do that, but if we can, maybe.
It's like right up there with when they changed the F to the E and the shirts all said get the F out.
Yeah. But yeah, download the Podbean app and give us your likes, because stats are important, and they can make us money. And what else is going on? Social media. DT Andy and JJ Star, and Instagram, Coat of Arms Tattoo, Love Hard Art, Tax Collectors and Harlots.
A week from when this airs, we will be gearing up for Rat's Nest.
Yes.
The 14th through 17th in East Durham, New York.
Do it.
We got 4 shows. There's Rat Rods. There's Burlesque. There's
Burnout Pits.
Heck there's
yeah.
food. There's fun. There's debauchery. Come indulge in all of it.
And there's a lot of alcohol.
They have like Chinese food soup containers full of booze.
Lots of booze.
Yes.
But it'll be a good time. Go hang out, say hi and all of that jazz. Buy some shit. Buy some t-shirts. And
actually, wait, that was in the downstairs bar. I don't know if that's going to be open.
There's still going to be alcohol.
You can always pour 2 into the. Yeah.
And I'm gonna go nurse this headache.
Oh.
And that's a full lid. Yeah, you got anything else to plug?
Just you.
Oh, and here we go. From the 3 of us at That Talking Podcast, I'm JJ Star.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
We'll talk to you later.